Okay, let's give you guys some more practice. So determine if this series will converge or if it will diverge. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this one, we are going to use the limit comparison test. So with the limit comparison test, you consider what happens as n heads towards infinity. Well, as n heads towards infinity, this thing here will act as 2 over 3 root n, and then as n heads towards infinity, this will act as will act as root n. So you've got 3 root n plus root n, so that will be 2 over 4 root n. So that's like this here. This is a constant, so you can take it out. So it will act as something like this: 2 over 4, and then 1 over root n. So with the limit comparison test, you see this we should compare this with 1 over root n. So with the limit comparison test, you are trying to investigate this an, which is this thing here, and then you should compare it with something that you know about. You know something about this 1 over root n. It is going to diverge. We've seen that 1 over root n, this here will, 1 over n will diverge. So 1 over root n will definitely diverge, because if you look at the graph, 1 over n here is like this. Well, 1 over root n looks like this. 1 over n squared will look like this. Well, if 1 over n already diverges, then root 1 over root n will definitely diverge. Well, we've seen this before. 1 over root n will diverge. So with a limit comparison test, we are going to compare this with this. So we need to compute this value here when it comes to the limit comparison test. We need to get an divided by bn. So we need to get an, which is this thing here, divided by bn, which is the same as multiplying the reciprocal of bn, which would be this. So now it's just a matter of us computing this value here. So this times this, that will then give you this, and then as n heads towards infinity, this thing here will act as root. This whole thing here will act as root n. So the limit of this will then become this. So the limit will be a half. So we've just computed this value here, and it equals a half. So going back to here, we've just computed this value here, and it equals a half. Well, a half is bigger than 0. So this is our situation here, as opposed to this, because we've just computed this value here, and it equals a half. Well, a half is not 0. It's not 0. So we can forget about this scenario. We just computed this value here, and it equals a half. Well, half is not infinity, so we can forget about this. Our scenario is this. Well, when we are in this scenario, it's saying that these two will act in unison with each other, because they both converge or they both diverge. So they act in unison with each other. Well, we are comparing. We know nothing about this series. We are comparing it with something that we know about. We know that this series is going to diverge. So because we are in this scenario, they act in unison with each other. So if Bn diverge, then An must also diverge. So because this thing here diverged, An here must also diverge. So our series here will diverge. Okay.